What's going on YouTube? It's Unger to the Max here. And if you've watched my channel enough, you know that I not only discuss those topics that many sports fans and experts are discussing, but I also like to discuss those topics that seem obscure and not many people talk about. And this is going to be another one of those. So, I was watching a little bit of Game 4 of the 2017 ALCS between the New York Yankees and the Houston Astros. Of course, the Astros would go on to win that series in 7 games, and then they would go on to beat the Dodgers in 7 games. Although they cheated, so the World Series is not legitimate. But that's not why I'm making this video. No. The reason I'm making this video is because when I was watching that video, I noticed that when it got to be 2 strikes on the Astros hitters, the crowd got louder and louder. And it got me thinking, when the crowd gets more hyped up, does that have any type of effect on the players? Because you don't just see it with that. But like when there's a face-off in hockey, you hear the crowd get really excited about stuff. Or when the opposing opponent is shooting free throws, you see the crowd like waving their hands and, banging those thunder sticks together, trying to make as much noise as they can. Or when it gets to be third down, you hear the PA announcer goes, "It's third down!" And you hear the crowd get really excited. I've always wondered, does that actually do anything to the opponent? Or do they just take it in stride and pretty much just ignore it? Because it's just such a common thing now. Like you could go to Heinz Field. You could go to M&T Bank Stadium. Let's see, State Farm Arena, Enterprise Center. It doesn't matter. PNC Park. Doesn't matter. No matter what stadium you're going to or what sport, there will be a situation where the Jumbotron and the home PA announcer does whatever they can to get the crowd fired up. And I just wonder, does that really have any type of effect on the players? I mean, at Cavs games, when the opponent is at the free throw line, in this case, let's say the San Antonio Spurs are at the free throw line, okay? The Cavs might put up a picture of the Michigan logo, and everybody will start booing. Or they'll put up a picture of Ben Roethlisberger. And, of course, Browns fans still think they have a rivalry with the Steelers when there isn't a rivalry, because the Browns have not beaten the Steelers in Pittsburgh since 2003. Excuse me. And the Browns have only beaten the Steelers twice since 2013. Once in 2014, when Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback, and the other time was this past season when the whole Myles Garrett situation happened. But, that's the type of stuff I like to think about, is when it gets to be third down and the crowd's going crazy, does that distract the opponent at all? Or when the opponent is at the free throw line trying to make free throws and the crowd's waving their arms and, holding up various posters and stuff like that, does that distract the players? Or when it gets to be 2 strikes and the home crowd is going crazy, does that make a difference? So, it's that type of stuff that I like to think about. So, one piece of evidence that shows that maybe the crowd noise does have an effect is that I can think of is I was watching the 2002 World Series film between when the Giants played the Angels, and the Angels were down in the bottom of the 8th inning in Game 6, and preparations were underway. They brought the World Series trophy to the Giants locker room, and they were putting up all the plastic stuff because the Giants, I believe, were up 5-0 or something. And all of a sudden, the Angels put up this rally monkey, and the crowd just goes crazy. And the Angels players fed off of that and made a miraculous comeback, forcing a Game 7, which I believe are the two best words in all of sports, and the Angels would end up winning Game 7, and they won the World Series. And there are certain stadiums, like Arrowhead Stadium and CenturyLink Field, where crowd noise causes the opponent to, do a false start because they can't hear the snap, or they can't hear the snap count, whatever. But overall, does crowd noise really make that big of a difference? I don't know. But it's just something that I wanted to put out there. So until next time, this is Unger to the Max, signing off. And if you liked this video, punch that like button like a UFC fighter and punch that subscribe button. Until next time, this is Unger to the Max, signing off.